Yeah, as I said 2 nights ago, just very happy for our guys, proud of our guys, proud for the effort that they played with, and just happy. We we talk a lot about finding a way. And I thought the other night we found a way to win. We found a way to hold off at the end. We found a way to make plays at the beginning and or to start fast at the beginning, and we found a way to make plays in the middle. And that's ultimately what I'm the most encouraged about, is we found a way to win the football game. And moving forward, now what we have to do, and we talked a little bit about this as a staff, and we'll talk about it today as a team, is when you talk about finding a way to win, I think one of the more important things is at the end of the game, there were some comments on the sideline and some talk of, man, we're not going to lose this. We can't lose this game, especially when it started getting closer and closer. And so there's a mentality thing there that we've got to talk about and then we've got to improve on. When you get in that situation, you've got to change your mindset from a negative thing, okay? Because when you're saying, man, we can't lose this, or we're not going to lose this game, that's a very negative undertone to it, as opposed to, hey, we're winning this football game. We're going to find a way to win this football game. And so we're going to talk to the boys a little bit about that. We've got to be better in that situation of, again, believing that we're going to find a way to win that football game, because that's two totally different mindsets right there. And in order to do that, and in order to be successful again this week and to go 1-0 again this week, we're going to have that mindset. We're going to have that type of mentality about us, because this is a quality ball club that we're about to face in EIU. It's a tough place to play up there. You never know what weather conditions you're going to get. We've got to get our guys ready for the task at hand.
What can you tell us about Eastern Illinois? Obviously, they kind of had a tough start to their year as well.
Yeah.
Got a big win last week against Tennessee Tech. They've got kind of a new offense in play.
Yeah, they're explosive on offense. They can score some points, and if you don't come out firing, they can put you in catch-up mode really quick. And so we can't do that. They've got some weapons over there. And I'd be lying to you if I told you I've had a chance to talk with Jake yet. I haven't had a chance to talk with him, other than just knowing, hey man, broad spectrum, they're explosive. They can put some points on the board. I don't know a whole lot about their new personnel, guys that we didn't face last year yet. And then defensively, I tell you, they're really tough defensively, because they've kind of switched. The beginning of the year, they're more 4-down front. They're a nickel front. They're running 4D linemen at you, and now all of a sudden Tennessee Tech, they're in an odd front again. And very similar to the defense we saw last week, 6-man box, kind of a 3-3 stack type deal. You go back and you watch them against us last year. They're more of an odd front, but they're more 3-2, and they're bringing blitzes from everywhere. So it's defensively, it's a little bit of an unknown. Just to be perfectly honest with you, it's a little bit of an unknown. So we've got to kind of be prepared. We've kind of got to be broadly prepared, if that makes sense, offensively. We can't get mired into saying, hey, this specifically, hey, this is how we're going to protect this specifically, because it may be 3 different fronts, or this is what you're looking at, quarterback. We've got to make sure that we've just got rules, and hey, go through your rule, go through your rule, go through your rule, and it doesn't matter what you see, just rule it out, which makes it very, very tough.
Tell us about Drew Anderson's confidence. He said this would come, I think, as he got more reps with the team. He didn't really hit the panic button this past week. He just had a tremendous start. What did that do for him from a confidence standpoint with the team?
Yeah, well, I think the biggest thing is what it did for the team with him. It gave everybody just a comfort level and a confidence level, because the team's been waiting to see him do that too. They watched him through fall camp and through the scrimmages, and they saw the same thing that all of us saw. It's the reason why he went out there with the it's the reason why we made him the first guy. And so you've kind of been waiting on him to have that breakout game, and and just unfortunately for him, the first 3 weeks were tough opponents, tough defenses, and I'm not saying that this was not a tough defense. It's just from a confidence standpoint, when you go through 3 weeks and you're playing those type of teams and you play UK, and you never have that breakout game, it's kind of a testament to him and a testament to the team that they kept that confidence about them, and they knew that they could do that. It just had to all fall in, all the pieces had to fall together at the right time, and they did. And I think now the best thing for them is they do have they've got a different feeling of confidence. So the challenge for us as coaches is we've got to make sure that they have that confidence, but they also don't let that confidence become complacency, because we still have an awful lot to fix now. I mean, after watching the tape, our effort was good, but boy, we've got a lot to fix to continue to be successful offensively and defensively.
What can you tell us about, just from a coaching standpoint, an analysis of the offensive line? Great protection against Kentucky. I know Drew took a couple of sacks in the middle of the second quarter against UT Martin, but just overall, what's the protection been like?
Yeah, so good question. So it's one of those things, and we may have talked about this last week or 2 weeks ago before the UT Martin game. So it's one of those things where you play a team like Central Arkansas or UK, right, where you're going into a hornet's nest up front. And I'm talking O-line specific. But it could be for the whole team as well. But you go into those games, and Central Arkansas has an elite pass rusher. They've got a big guy inside. UK, obviously, they've got what's his name, Josh Allen, 41, Josh Allen. They've got some guys that can come get the passer. So you go into those weeks and you almost have, like, the boys don't like to hear this word, but you almost have like a certain fear, right? There's like an anxiety where, man, if I don't do my technique, if I don't play 100% effort and I don't do my technique, not only am I going to get beat on this play, like I've got a chance to get embarrassed. Like, we've got a chance to get embarrassed. To me, the trick to it is how do you funnel that, right, or control that fear, that nervous energy about, hey man, if I don't do what I'm supposed to do, I could get embarrassed. You've got to bottle that up. And you've got to play with that same type of mentality every week. Every week, no matter who you face, you've got to play with that same type of mentality every week. I don't know if coming off that UK game, I don't know if the O-line, they kind of walked around with their chest poked out a little bit too much and then got humbled, because they did not play very well. Okay, and I know that's the reason why you're asking that, is they did not play very well Saturday night, and those five will tell you that was not their best game of football. So I think from a coaching standpoint, we've got to go back to previous weeks and go, hey, that same urgency that you had and that same fear, whatever you want to call it, we've got to play with that. We've got to play up on our toes. We've got to play up on our toes, and we've got to play very urgent, and we've got to play with great pad level, or else we have a chance to get embarrassed every week. Now, if we do those things, I think we can be pretty good up front. I think our five guys up front are pretty good when they're playing with that type of urgency.